Welcome to today's episode of the Staff Meeting Podcast, where Millennium Business Solutions group members join in and share key conversations from staff meetings that are helpful for the public to know.
And now we are, I've got the record button going and we're talking about stuff. This is our opportunity as IT professionals to share tips and tricks with each other. And some of the things that we had some really interesting tips and tricks just today, which was kind of cool. Like Rob's in the zone today with the PowerShell on applying rights to mailboxes, and also to having Sentinel-1, which can consume extra drive space to have some of its backup snapshots in a way to make that be less aggressive. So some really cool stuff just in working today. And that's what we do. We share stuff with each other. It's why we record it. We put it out there, let people see in the IT business, or maybe you are a manager of a IT infrastructure, small, medium size. So that's kind of why we put it out there. So we have plenty of things coming up. One of the things we were definitely going to talk about is in the future show, we're going to talk about tools that we've been using. One of them is ChatGPT, where we're using that to help correct mistakes in PowerShell. I've been using a news reader, which is for the first time in 20 years. I didn't know news feeds were still around. So exactly. Feedbin is a cool thing. I'm going to show Feedbin. I think it's really neat. We also have, it's a management tool that looks at all of your expenditures on OnlyFans and then organizes it by price and stuff. So you're able to look in. Anyway, I mean, wow, I am like Bella Thorne. I'm really hitting that one hard. That's crazy. That's a lot of money there. So, but actually we will also have a Azure budgeting tool, not an OnlyFans budgeting tool, but an Azure budgeting tool that shows you how much you're spending on things like disk space as opposed to redheads. So, but today we're going to look at a tool that recently changed, right, Andrew? It had been on version 3. They had an older name, which was called CyberCNS. They're now called Connect Secure. There's a variety of different auditing tools. Why do you audit? A lot of times the customer is going to have a cybersecurity audit. A different team is going to come in and audit our work to make sure that we're not crazy. They'll find that we're crazy, but they'll find that at least we're competent.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, exactly. And so to not be embarrassed, you want to run a pre-auditing tool to look for any gaps, close those gaps first, and then let the auditors, come in and make fun of you. So, and we have a great auditing team. We can invite them to a future podcast because they're really great people and have a similar sense of humor as we do. So I'm going to turn it to you, Andrew, to show us Connect Secure. And I am going to say something really quick. One of the things that I like specifically about this tool is that not all customers are created equally, and they all have different levels of compliance that they need to meet. Some people are PCI, some people are HIPAA, and so on. And one of the things about the tool is it can look at the particular assets a customer owns through the lens of a specific compliance. So not everybody is NIST 800 and needs to have the machines in a room with Tom Cruise coming out of the ceiling and the whole thing. So
air gap computers,
air gapped, right, and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of them just need basic NIST small business. I think CyberCNS calls it security essentials or something like that. Essential, yeah. So
the essential 8.
Yeah. So I'll turn it over to you, and let's just take a look. I haven't seen version 4, so this will be new to me. I'm used to the old school one, so this will be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, Richard, for that. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen here, and we'll get to it. I'm going to use MBSG for internal.
You must be working with David. It's immediate dark mode.
Immediate dark mode. It's,
yep.
That's
David has turned me on to
that way better.
Saving the planet. I love it.
Saving the planet one at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, you know, the if if you're not all that familiar with security information and event management tool, this is just as one of very many. Recently, like Richard had mentioned earlier, is that they migrated over from an older version to a newer version. The older version was a bit more
It was clunky. Yeah.
convoluted and
Yeah, it was clunky.
you see
Yeah, yeah.
definitely see some improvements here. One of which is just the feel of how to display certain aspects
Well,
through.
this alone here of just cleanly displaying the assets.
Yeah.
So this is a particular site. It happens to be us because we don't really want to show other people. And then cleanly showing all of the workstations in our site here. And so I like that. That's super cool.
Really cool. And then on top, if you have multiple clients sitting in within your tenant itself,
Yeah.
you also have an opportunity to kind of go globally. However, this is a sub client, which is our own in our
Us
own
personally. Yeah. Right.
We just
setting,
focus
so.
on ourselves. Yep, that works.
Yeah. And so what you typically see in these kind of scenarios is that um, when you actually upload the agent into what they call as a lightweight and a probe agent, lightweight agents are typically used on endpoints, or if in cybersecurity world they like to use endpoints.
Right.
And in this case, CyberCNS, or rather Connect Secure, has done a really great job of providing a kind of
Oh, wow.
pre-baked
There you go, Rob. PowerShell, baby.
PowerShell script.
Oh,
And it's kind of universal. The thing to notice here is that the unique identifier in this case is the company ID. So you can essentially use this PowerShell script as a whole, and the unique identifier in this case, like I said, is the company ID,
it's like a
and
token.
a
Yeah.
token, exactly. And you can interchangeably switch out, which I've highlighted here, the company ID. So when you're doing multiple tenants, or I'm sorry, multiple clients, you can install it with that kind of calling that out. So that's kind of neat. If I go back and I'll see if I can stroll back into I'm sorry, here into the agents. Um, they used to have previously probe agents, and you would go into the probe agent tab here, and then inside the probe agent, you would pull its unique identifier or power script that is unique for that particular agent. However, everything is now brought in with a lightweight agent, and then if
Like back in the
once
day, you would do a DC, a domain controller,
they
as a
control
probe. You would then
a
use the
server.
probe to shoot out to all the workstations. But no one has servers, or not a lot of our clients have servers in a closet anymore. So all you need to do is, just put them on the endpoints, like you said. And
Exactly.
so the endpoints just get the lightweight one, the baby one.
Exactly. And then it basically is pretty smart. It's pretty adaptable enough to see and recognize what operating system that particular, whether it be a server, is running on, and then it'll move it over to probe agents later on. So that's pretty neat. Um, just kind of going through a bit of an overlay of things here. Reports and report builder. We kind of use that in our monthly scanning reports when we provide information to basically our clients. And I can give you kind of a bit of just a light overview of how this works. You can come in here and schedule out every month and say, hey, listen, I want you to run a report against a particular standard. In most cases, either NIST or which we were talking about earlier,
Small business.
a small business or Essential 8, right? And then utilize that to run that report against your tenant, as a baseline, right? And then it'll basically generate that report, and you can come in and pull various reports. Some are as you see here, the compliance summaries. You'll see essential 8, as I mentioned before, compliance report, and it'll give you in either a document kind of form or a Excel, and you can kind of actually just drill down.
Which one do you like better?
I personally, from what I've seen thus far, it depends on the client. Larger clients like some of our other larger clients will use I see benefits in Excel just because you can, yeah, it does come out in a bit of a list. However, you can drill down on the unique the unique workstation and also what vulnerability it's calling out. And then you can go back and say, oh, let's say for instance, one of which would be some of the reg keys that has been seen as a vulnerability on, I believe, on some older versions of servers. They recommend to update and change those reg keys, which would be called out in that report, right? So there's some huge benefits.
One of the reg keys that I'm aware of on a server that Rob and I always fought was to disable SMB, older SMB 1.1, so on. Yep. And so they flagged that as a reg key you need to flip. Yep. So
I also saw that there's integrations now as you were scrolling through that list into Azure and other tools like Intra.
Oh, really?
So it's not just on site now. Like you can actually build integrations into other tools.
Oh, dude.
And use this to really have a wide view of everything that's available here. So I mean, some people use Intra, some people use AD only. Yeah, this is great. So this is definitely one of those tools that becomes very useful in managing a client's infrastructure, whether it be security or patches or. As it looks like there's everything in here. Look, you can do connect right into PSA.
Yep.
If you wanted to, auto task, connect.
Look at that service now. For it, so if you had a service desk thing, plug in different PSAs and stuff. Yeah, Ninja. Yep.
It's quite a bit of integration.
So we have Dotto. I did the only thing I can really claim to fame on this was I did hook it to Dotto. So the Dotto RMM agent is on many assets, and then I'm able to over here pull it in. So I'm able to have it go reach in, and it then deploys out. But that's, I mean, I did that, and then I handed it to Andrew, and now he's the man on this. I have no clue what I'm looking at.
It's a broad. It's a very you can really refine a lot of tasks in here. I think the biggest one of the biggest
well, it's doing an audit, right? A pre-audit before someone shows up. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be embarrassed. So before we're getting a bit tight on time, before we go, can you open up an asset just so we can see what it looks like? Like
absolutely.
I don't know, one of them could be my machine in there.
Probably this one's mine. Yeah, this is my top one. So
I was playing around with the WinGet program. I was trying to improve my score before this meeting. So I was running the WinGet, right, to like do all of the patches. I might be that Q7K down there, the green one.
The green one, all the way at the bottom?
Right above Home Office CB.
Oh, okay. Right here.
I think that's me.
Okay.
And I was super nervous about this meeting, so I ran the thing like WinGet like 100 times.
Yeah, and like you're all good right there. Look at it's showing on the right there.
Yeah, and then so what's pretty cool here is that
we should probably show one that's messed up. But so yeah, if we probably again, I just didn't want to be embarrassed, so I was like
see.
You got one vulnerability that it's called out.
I do,
and it's a 5.5 score as far as the urgency of or criticality of it. So system micro
using a speculative execute. Oh, dude, I'll have to go in and check that out then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really weird. I haven't seen the tool in a long time, so I wasn't really checking my score, but I was like patching it and doing a bunch of stuff because I was like, super nervous for this meeting. And so can you click on one that's like messed up? That's like
Sure.
has a bad score?
Let's see.
We can see.
Maybe that B or the F machine right there. It's actually grading all of these. If you notice, there's a B, an F, and in Richard's case, he had an A.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
this actually goes over and tells us like,
Oh wow,
hey,
look at that.
look at these things that you're missing here. So
well, we need to fire our IT guy. That he's
we do.
totally like
For the
on crack or
record,
something,
Richard's
man.
our eternal IT guy.
I know, I'm the eternal one. Yeah, which means it's the shoemaker's kids, right? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
every IT person watching this video will know like their own stuff is like it needs work, right? All the time.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
well, that's cool, and it lists
yeah.
off the vulnerability ID from NIST and stuff, right? So it actually has the article number and all that. That's really dope, man.
Really cool. So, just to kind of close out here, I think one of the most beneficial things that you can actually grab out of a platform like this is to go in and essentially see all those vulnerabilities, and it does also give you some of those remediations. You know, what can I do to resolve this issue, and what is there other is there patches that are needed?
Right.
Do I need to go into the reg edit? Should I run that? And you really go down that path. So it is.
So what do you do? Like, what is your, like, would you then take what you see here and do the remediation from RMM, or do you do the remediation from here?
I try to do remediations from the RMM.
Yeah, that's what
we haven't really tested, and maybe that might be something, you know, David and us as a team, we kind of, you know, do as together and see how well that actually works as, you know, even third party patching. But again,
well, we'll log in, and that one thing for me, we'll try to push it or whatever. And, you know, I
think for you that might be a BIOS update. You might want to check.
Yeah,
because it's talking about the microprocessor. So it's either going to be that or an Intel probably update.
Yeah. Well, I am behind on BIOS for sure, because I get nervous about that.
I think it's a BIOS. That's what I'd lean towards first.
Right.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you showing this. I mean, this is really cool. And again, you know, the audience that we have who kind of watches our nonsense is really people who are, you know, they're managing, either they're at a small MSP, they're managing, they want to see how are other people kind of baking the cake, as it were. Or they're in a small, medium-sized firm, they're an IT guy, or looking at tools to audit their own setup, you know, before the real auditors show up. So this is great. This is awesome. I appreciate it. Again, we have things that'll be coming up, which will be, I think what we'll do for like one of our next things will be, it's for sure, that Azure budgeting tool, which is totally dope. We also, I think we can do a round of like little tiny things where each of us have like something small to show, like the feed bin and then some of the PowerShell commands and stuff like that. But this is all good stuff. It is my sad duty to report that we are done, and everyone has to, unfortunately, get back to work. Have a great day.
Tune in every other week for tips, tricks, and solutions that make your business run like clockwork. Millennium Business Solutions Group, making tech simple, secure, and successful. Subscribe now and keep us in your corner, because at Millennium, your success is our solution.